Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the MikeWagnerShow@gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page and up to 35 podcast platforms on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Anchor FM, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a multi-talented singer, songwriter, musician who's out of Los Angeles, and he just made an escape with his EP, and he's also fronting a couple of projects, and one of his bands is in the Blythe Spirit, and of course a Darker Bright as well too, and shining a light on all this great music scene here in the Los Angeles and soon to be nationwide. Ladies and gentlemen, live from sunny California, the very multi-talented Bryan Smith. Bryan, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that introduction. That made me smile. That made my day. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Just staying cool. So you're basically a multi-talented musician, singer, songwriter, and you also play the bass and piano. You sing backups, and you do everything with the Darker Bright, and also with a Blythe Spirit as well too. And you also have an EP out you've had for a while called Escape. And as we were chatting on the pregame, as they say, our pre-show, you got a lot of projects in the works. But before we get into all that, tell us how you got started music-wise.
Music-wise, well, my parents are both in the entertainment industry. My father's a sound man, and my mom is an actress. So I always grew up around the theater, sitting in the wings while my mom was doing stuff or while my father was working. And both my parents love music and rock and roll, so they were always playing. And I think they tried to give me some piano lessons when I was a kid, but I didn't want any part of that. And just kept listening. I was a fervent listener. And then sometime in the middle of high school, I was in that kind of ennui that I guess a lot of teenagers hit. And I was watching one of my favorite bands, Led Zeppelin, some show on like VH1, back when VH1 played music.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Jimmy Page, and I was like, man, I was like, I wish I played. I wish I knew how to play. And then it just sort of struck me, like, well, why don't you just learn to play?
Uh-huh.
And so I went upstairs to my father's office and grabbed this old Spanish guitar he had, and convinced I was going to learn to play it that day, and realized I had a ways to go, and kind of never stopped since then.
and of course, next thing you know, you'd be with Led Zeppelin, so it's like you never know. So, yeah, I just never doubt that. And what was that one moment that precisely influenced you into where you are and what you're doing today?
The one moment that influenced me into that?
Yeah, it's like a precise moment. It's almost like an aha moment saying that, yes, this is for me. This is what I definitely want to do.
Oh, I'd probably say probably the first time I ever played music with people. I had a little band I started in high school. We never got to go out and play it live, but we practiced our asses off, and we were going to play like the Battle of the Bands. I'm not sure what happened, that kind of high school drama. And I remember the first time we played in my mom's back house, and we were playing like real thrashy punk rock and roll because only the drummer really knew how to play, and the rest of us were just kind of going. But we knew a few chords, but we locked into a little 3-4 chord groove, and it was like a lightning bolt going off inside my like body and soul at the same time. And I never felt so much like power and energy coming like through me. I'd always felt that kind of energy, being a energetic fella, but I'd never known what to do with it. And it other than run or something. And it was just nothing's never been the same since.
What was it, one of those where you just got into a song and you suddenly locked in like a 2-3 hour jam like most bands do?
We couldn't jam at that rate. All we could really do was write our own stuff because we couldn't really play anybody else's. And we would come up with our songs and just practice them until they started sounding like songs. But we would play the same like 5 songs that we had initially, I don't know, 15 times in a row, and it didn't bother us at all. It drove my stepdad something crazy because we're so loud, and it's just like just chugging away, and then we'd mess up and start over again.
I bet your dad's like, "This isn't Led Zeppelin."
But as I got older and started playing with more people and learned to jam, that became the next phase of musical bliss, realizing you could get lost in that kind of creative state with other people at the same time too, which was a whole other revelation. That's a journey that changes everything too.
And how would you describe your sound as?
Both of the bands I play in are very steeped in alternative rock, but not out of a staunch effort to be in said camp or limit ourselves by any genre, just sort of where we were out, energy and sound wise when they formed. But we have aspirations and are making efforts to be a little more eclectic.
Uh-huh. That has to be amazing as well too. And who's basically your favorite artists, singers, and other musicians besides Led Zeppelin and guitars growing up?
So many, from like Billy Corgan and Kurt Cobain to Chris Cornell and obviously John Paul, Ringo, and George. Love Clapton. Bass players, James Jamerson, Victor Wooten, Flea. Mark Hoppus, though, Blink, he was the one who really turned me on to bass. Maybe surprising to most bass players, because I don't think he gets a lot of respect out of like the serious musicians, but he rips, and I loved Blink growing up. Blink was the band that like made me and my friends realize, hey, we can make our own music. We've grown up, at least I'd grown up listening to guys like Led Zeppelin and Cream and just giants, right? And they were so good. And coming from a place I really had no relation to as like a scrappy kid, I was just sort of a disaffected, jaded teenager. Liked the beach and rock and roll and hanging with my friends and skating and stuff. And then to hear, guys just a few years older than us making music we related to, that energy, feeling like we felt was awesome. So, and then I was like, well, we always needed a bass player. I was like, well, I can play the bass. So I did. So I started and never end up playing more bass than I played anything else.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that I think that sounded like a really good stepping stone for you, too. And I can even say, hey, John Paul Jones, look out here. So
I hope so. I'd sure love to meet him someday.
Exactly, yes. And we'll get to a couple of your albums as well, too, along with your upcoming EP as well, too. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look on a professional website without breaking our budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. And you can download and listen to over 35 podcast platforms on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more as well, too. And take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. And also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with singer, songwriter, musician, the multi-talented Bryan Smith out of Los Angeles here on the Mike Wagner Show with a couple of his groups, Blythe Spirit and A Darker Bright. Also has an EP called Escape as well, too. And before we get into all that, tell us about Blythe Spirit and A Darker Bright.
Well, Blythe Spirit's sort of my pet project. Something I've wanted to do for as long as I've been writing songs, pretty much. But it took quite a while to sort of form in my mind and heart, and finally got the opportunity to start right around the time we formed Darker Bright, which was sort of this musical moment in my life that just came around as an unexpected gift, where all of a sudden I was working on all the music I'd always wanted to be working on, but it had never been able to really line up musician-wise or space-wise or in my own way, talent-wise. I didn't really know how to. And that all kind of came together in one moment where suddenly I was playing with guys who wanted to make the same kind of music and wanted me to be doing what I do best, and we all kind of wanted to go in the same direction. And that led to A Darker Bright, which formed sort of out of the ashes of some bands that had fallen apart. Me and the singer, my best friend Jeff, and one of my other best friends, Scott, had been in a band. Jeff and I had been in two bands. We asked him to join the band I was in with Scott, and then that band fell apart. But we sort of formed a bond, so we all said, you know what, we should carry on. And then we met my now best friend Christian, the drummer, and formed A Darker Bright. But in the process of forming A Darker Bright, we were trying out drummers. And I happened upon the original Blythe Spirit drummer, Bob Powell, because he came into audition for A Darker Bright. And it wasn't the right fit vibe-wise for that band, but we just hit it off with a natural rapport. And after the audition, the other fellas left, but I still had some cold beers in the fridge, and it was pretty early. And I was like, hey, man, I don't know what kind of brought it on to me, but I was like, hey, you want to jam a little more? I got a couple of ideas on guitar I've been really wanting to rock out with, and I just got a feeling you might like it. And lo and behold, he was down, and we played till I ran out of ideas, and that kind of got me the platform to start doing Blythe Spirit, which basically began with a few old songs that had been in the backpack as I'd been shuffling along between projects for a while. It
sounds like after Blythe Spirit, you managed to pick up some musicians as well, too, to form A Darker Bright. And what influenced you to get that second project going and taking in some other musicians to form the group?
Well, making music with other people is, pretty much the best thing ever. I play a lot of acoustic guitar and sing by myself, as I think anybody who writes songs does, but it's never been even close to as satisfying to me, or I'm sure probably anybody hanging out listening, is when I get together with some folks, and especially when you get together with people you're friends with and you've been working on your craft with. Something cosmic happens, and you can share something that's hard to put in words, and that's the beauty of making music. And the bonds I'd had with the fellas that we started A Darker Bright with Probably the best musical relationships I'd ever had. So it was kind of like a no-brainer at that point in life. I didn't know if they'd be down after our previous projects had fallen apart, just because that can really take the wind out of people's sails, especially in the independent music world, where you're fighting all the odds in general, and you got the rest of life to contend with, and nobody really cares what you're doing. It's pretty easy to throw in the towel, but we at all, the three of us, had this free and open exchange of ideas where we genuinely were down to try anything somebody suggested, and we enjoyed each other's company, and we were to write and allowed each other to write, and that sort of lack of ego and lots of laughter in its place was about the coolest thing I'd ever known. So when everybody was down to keep going as band, I was pretty stoked. It took a little while to find Christian, but when he came together, the band really sung together.
You also have your songs as well, too, by Blythe Spirit on EP as well, too, like Favorite Drug, Hallowed Ground, Ramblin' and More. And tell us about some of those songs, and what do you base your lyrics on, and what influenced you to write those songs?
Well, that EP in particular's got a lot of classic Boy Meets Girl, Boy and Girl Fall in Love, things crash and burn going on in it. The band formed right after I had broken up with my ex of 3 years. We were living together and things. She wanted to go in another direction in life, and we were going other ways. So I was bummed pretty hard on that the year that band started coming together, and those songs on that record were almost the personal catharsis of getting through that time. Incidentally, my drummer had recently gotten divorced, I think, a few months before we started finishing up those songs. I had the little sketches of them before we got together. And except for Hallowed Ground, that one had been carrying around in the proverbial backpack for a little while. But it had morphed into its meaning. It had originally been a straight up love song, and then it was also a little bit of a double entendre as a relationship fell apart and another one bloomed and then fell apart.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say your favorite one is? Your personal
favorite one?
Yeah.
Last Song for Her, probably.
Last song. Okay.
Yeah. It's I think the longest song on there, and at the time it was the most ambitious thing written or tried to play and perform, and also a super vulnerable place for me personally to sing that way and play that, put it all out there like that. Before that, I've always felt a little more guarded, so it was kind of a release.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got two sections, which is something I never tried before.
Okay, all right, that sounds pretty good. We'll play that right as well too, and also A Darker Bright as well too. And tell us about that EP and some of the songs on that as well too. And what's your favorite?
My favorite off of that EP is, well, it might be the little bonus song that we put on there, just because it was the first thing we ever did. It's the acoustic version of the first song on the EP, Reverse, which is still probably my favorite.
And what is it again?
Reverse. There's a piano-only version. It's the fifth song on the EP. It's a piano and vocal version of the first song on there, but it was the first thing we finished as a band and put out before we even put out the EP.
Mm-hmm. And
it holds a special place in my heart. And Jeff sounds awesome singing the vocal. And that's probably my favorite song on there, and from a personal stance. But my favorite, maybe tune of us as a full band on there is probably Unearth. We don't do anything else like that on that that record, and it's earnest in a way I really was proud of us for doing.
That sounds pretty good as well, too. We'll talk about your Escape EP, and we'll play a couple of songs as well, too. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can also check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen to over 35 podcast platforms on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with singer, songwriter, musician, the multi-talented Bryan Smith here on the Mike Wagner Show, based out of Los Angeles. And before we talk about the Escape EP, we're going to play a couple of songs back-to-back from Blythe Spirit, as well as A Darker Bright. We have the last song for her, and we also have Reverse, and we got them for you right here on the Mike Wagner Show. That was Blythe Spirit with Last Song for Her, and also A Darker Bright with Reverse on the Mike Wagner Show, backed by the very talented Bryan Smith. And let's talk about your EP called Escape. That was your debut, and tell us more about that one.
That's the first thing we put together as a band. Those songs were the formation of the band and us getting through the ashes of bands previous falling apart, and also some personal relationships falling apart for the members, and then finding solace in music and moving forward and getting that spring back in our step again. And that's that EP, if listening wise for me, that's what that is.
What would you say your favorite track is on that one?
My favorite track is probably Unearth. I can't remember. I think it might be the last one on there as a band. It's
okay,
kind of earnest for us, which I really appreciate.
And that sounds amazing too. And where can we find your music at?
You can find it on Spotify and SoundCloud, Bandcamp, and I believe it's on I know it's on Apple Music as well, and then I think some other streaming platforms, although I'm honestly not familiar what any of the streaming platforms are beyond those main ones, but I know we distributed to a few of them.
It sounds like it too, and we also make note as well too that the Blythe Spirit album is called Love's the Whole Point here on the Mike Wagner Show. And what do you guys have planned for 2020 and beyond, and what can we expect from you guys?
Well, we actually got quite a bit in store. Both bands are finishing up our debut LP right now. We are in the mixing stage with the Darker Brights LP, and we'll hopefully be putting that out in the summertime. Everything got a little skewed, as you might imagine, with global calamity, and shows got canceled and such, but we really want to get out music and share it. Actually seems even more important now, even though we can't get out and play it live, just to get it out so people can listen, and gosh, so we can listen, if nothing else. And then Blythe Spirit's also working on an LP, and that's about, say, 80% done tracking wise, and done a little bit of the mixing on it. And we'll definitely get that out in the summer as well.
Sounds great. We're looking forward to it as well, too. We'd love to have you back and keep us up to date on that project. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Bryan?
Probably my folks, my mom and my pops. They've always supported me and encouraged me to write and try my hardest, and get up when you fail and try some more and keep dreaming no matter what.
And that's amazing too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
It's never too late to start. And if you failed before, so what? Get up again and charge hard, because at the end of the day, dollars and acknowledgement don't really matter. It's just, are you kind, and did you give it your all? And if you do, after the things that matter to you, then you win. You win the real game. You've spent your time well, and you grow and you learn, and usually by default you get some happiness, and you bring some joy into other people's lives.
That's amazing, too. Once again, Bryan Smith out of Los Angeles with Blythe Spirit and A Darker Bright, the singer-songwriter, multi-talented musician on the Mike Wagner Show. Thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, where can people purchase or listen to your music?
Thanks so much, Mike. Appreciate that. Would love to be back anytime. You can find us at darkerbright.com and blythespirit.la, or on the gram at A Darker Bright and at Blythe Spirit LA. That's Blythe, BLYTHE Spirit LA. Got a few singles will probably be coming out before those records, so stay tuned for those. And otherwise, you can find us on Spotify and Apple and also SoundCloud and Bandcamp. And there's links on those web pages to those platforms if you need direction. Unfortunately, no shows lined up right now because who knows when we're going to be allowed to have shows again. But we'll be sharing a lot of new music, and as soon as we can start gathering together as a band, we'll going to put some video content up for anybody out there who's interested. But reach out. There's an email spot on our webpage if anybody wants to reach out directly to us, or you can always reach out on the gram too. We'd be stoked to hear from you.
Sounds great. And once again, Bryan, a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you in soon. Do us a favor, keep this up to date. Love you have back on sometime in 2020. You've been great.
Will do, Mike. I definitely will. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.